The entire team at the Emsolation podcast acknowledges the traditional custodians and cultures of the lands and seas on which we live and work. We pay our respects to all First Nations peoples, elders and ancestors. We acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded and stand in solidarity towards a shared future. I personally want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which I record this podcast every week, the Wurundjeri people. I recognise their continued connection to the land and waters of this beautiful place I call home. Always was, always will be.
Emsolation.
And I think maybe because I wanted to make it professional, my brain was like, okay, bitch, and went completely the other way.
And Michael Lucas.
Oh, likewise with you. Can't wait. And just remember, if it's too fatty, just heat it up.
This is Emsolation.
I was working for Baz Luhrmann.
Oh, just pick that name up.
Oh, no, but I was.
You're in Emsolation.
All right, here we go. This is weird. This is weird having an audience to the intro. Okay. Oh my God.
What is wrong with you?
I'm just doing it by myself. This is all going to go in, isn't it? Hello. Welcome to Emsolation. My name is Em Russiano. I'm a writer, a singer, a stand-up comedian, a maximalist power queen, a neurodiverse magic brain, a podcaster. And together with my best friend since I was 11, oh my God, you had one job. Like literally.
I was inhaling. I was ready to go. Michael Lucas.
No, what are you though? Like what are you?
Screenwriter
and
podcaster.
Yeah. Michael Lucas.
Sassy best friend, except not that sassy, and also no good at fashion for a gay best friend, unfortunately.
Wow.
Gay best friend of limited quality.
Oh, no, you give me so
strong
much.
In some areas.
Very strong. You're my emotional support animal. We've had crystal charged red wine, so this could go anywhere. Why is Michael in the intro? Well, that is a very good question. This is a special edition of the podcast. It's the pre-election edition, which will require a lot of alcohol, we've decided.
I think it's important that when you're covering detailed political matters, you should be half-masked.
I just feel like if people are coming to us, they're already given up.
Yeah.
I think they've already given up. They're like, oh, God, we do have...
I personally think they've come to the right place. And if we aren't suddenly parachuted in to host the results on Saturday night...
Imagine. Oh, what's the name of the little Irish guy? What's his
Anthony
name?
Green. Is that who you're talking
if
about?
If Anthony Green
the statistician.
if he couldn't do it, I would treat it like a sassy weather girl. You know, like I would be there in my outfit with a green screen, hopefully. Maybe I'm in Paris one moment, just like pointing like Alexandra Ixanades, remember?
You'd be like, the thing I like about Eden Monaro is it sounds like paradise but also a brand of car.
Bringing together my two loves. Camp Bogan. We do have an actual expert joining us, Justine Landis-Hanley. She's from a great new Spotify podcast called Left, Right, Out. She's a political journalist, also briefly worked in politics. So we thought we better get someone in who, I don't know, could just maybe chuck some facts in while we wax lyrical about whatever the fuck we want. So I've got you in the intro, and this is going to discombobulate people. You know, people like routine, but... we wanted to have a little chat first before Justine joined us because the Logie voting has officially opened. And I was trying to explain to my husband, I was giddy, I was laughing, you and I are planning things. I booked my trip to the Gold Coast. I'm not invited to the Logies yet. You are. We're working on it. But either way, I'm going to be there.
You should be there.
I know.
Runner-up of Masked Singer, which is a nominated production.
I have not been invited yet. We've asked them today. I'll report back. I'm not holding out hope. There'll be every influencer under the sun who's not on the telly there, but not me. But hopefully it's all right. I mean, imagine the dress. I'm not letting myself get excited because it couldn't happen. But I will be there supporting you from our hotel room.
Which frankly sounds like a pretty fun way to support someone.
Pretty much. So let's talk Newsreader. Oh my God, bitch, you did it. Like our whole life. How long have we been watching the Logies? It's
Yes, it's true. I can't remember a time before the Logies.
No. I mean, it is the only originated coupon-based voting system on the face of the planet. Hasn't it stood the test of time?
I've only been in the room once before in 12 years of working in television.
But this is different because this is your thing. You created this from your own brain and you're now, oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this. Like, I can't believe I'm saying this. I can't believe you're going to win a Logie before me, first of all. Boo.
Well, we don't know that.
Oh, come on.
No, I think competition is pretty tight. I really do.
Now, the Newsreader, your TV show,
Yeah.
what exactly are you'll hear me take ownership of this very quickly. What are our nominations?
We're up for most popular drama series.
Yeah.
Most outstanding drama series.
Yes, and that's important to note because one is popularity, obviously voted by the public.
Yeah.
Emsolators, vote.
Yeah.
We're going to run a very tight, staunch campaign. This is going to be nuts. You think Trump was over the top? You wait till you see my Newsreader campaign. Michael will barely have a say. And then the other one is like industry peer voted, right?
That's right.
So that's kind of cool to get the nod from.
Look, I'll take anything I can get.
Mate.
Absolutely.
What else are we nominated for?
Anna Torv got most popular actress.
Yes.
She also got nominated for most outstanding actress.
Yes, she got both.
Yeah.
Is that it?
No, Sam Marie got nominated for most outstanding actor, and William McInnes got nominated for most outstanding supporting actor.
Most outstanding shouting in a TV drama.
Exactly right.
They are right. Oh, you take one more step, Helen. One more step, you're gone. I'm not kidding.
6 Logie nominations. Oh my God. I'm so emotional for you. People don't understand. This is a thing that we've always watched, we've always looked at. You might get to own one. You might get that funny little weird.
I can't wait to see if I ever get nominated for an Oscar. What are you going to pull out?
I'll be dead. Just R.I.P. me. Just if you ever get nominated for an Oscar, well, first of all, I'm coming. I mean,
Yeah.
Adrian and I may have to fight to the death. Adrian can get nominated for his own stuff. He's a director in his own right. Adrian can get there on his own. I will never
You can
make
turn
that
to
Oscars.
him and say, me taking your ticket is going to instill in you the hunger that you need. I am taking your ticket for you so that you will claw your way up harder. You can thank me later.
Exactly. As my daughter complained to the entire cast of Footloose, I can't be a tortured artist because Mum loved me too much. So
She has a real good point. And thank God you're there to provide the harsh love.
And when Adrian wins that Oscar, he knows he's got to thank first.
That's right.
If it wasn't for
Well,
that
you
bitch-
probably have gone. You probably have said to me at that point, it was my words that got in there. Yes, I'm going for a second time.
You know me so well. I've got all these buttons in front of me and they can make sound effects happen now, which is, I don't know whose idea this was. This is a terrible idea, but one of these was yes. What could go wrong here? Oh, I
This
love
is a woman.
that.
She has no idea what's happening when she's jamming these fingers down, and yet she's embracing every single one.
Wait. Yes, that's you at the Logies.
Woo!
Oh, yeah. Wait, and the best TV show ever in the history of the world goes to The Newsreader, written by, shot by, acted by, directed by Michael Lucas.
Oh. I just don't even need to go now. I've had the experience.
It's really exciting. Shifting gears.
That was like when you had, do you remember when you had like those books that had the magic chimes, Tinkerbell chimes,
Yes.
and you turn the pages?
I
That's what
can
that was.
apply Tinkerbell chimes many times during our political chat. Don't worry
Okay,
about that. I'll be
great.
working on it. Now I know that's the last button. That's the only one I'll remember.
Woo!
What could go wrong?
She's out of control.
We wanna
She's
thank
going to
Rhodes.
find a way to weave this into day-to-day life, I can tell.
We want to thank Rode. Obviously, Rode have sent me this amazing desk podcast thingy that's got buttony things, and I run a podcast, so feel very reassured about that. So, Friday night, opening night of the Live and Unleashed tour in Brisbane. It was good.
Yeah.
I just want to again thank everyone who came, Michael, because they're flooding again. Like, we arrived and Brisbane looks like Waterworld, that Kevin Costner monstrosity.
Yeah.
Everything, it was wild.
Water's rising, COVID cases rising, and still they
They
showed.
showed up. I was I was really overwhelmed at the full house at QPAC because all the car parks are closed there because they're all flooded. So everyone, and the ferries were shut off. Like, there was literally
People
no way.
practically
People
had to
rowed.
kayak.
They did.
Yeah.
And I said, thank you. I know all your canoes are parked out the front. I appreciate it. And I just said to them, I'm going to give you 2 hours of an escape from reality. Like, let's forget COVID. Let's forget the floods, the rain, everything. We're just going to be locked in here for 2 hours. And we delivered. I think we delivered. We did go for 2 hours. Could have gone for 3, to be honest. But I really want everyone in Brisbane to know who came, how touched I am that you came, because I can't say I would have done the same for you. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot. So it was a good fun time.
It was fun on Instagram.
It was.
I just want to say that for me, the most striking thing was seeing the M pre-show sternly saying to the audience, if I look like I'm being too active, pull me up. I can't. And then cut to the Instagrams of the night. She's dancing, she's squatting, she's demonstrating some sort of urine
Squatting,
action.
Yeah. Yep. Showing how there's a bit where I talk about all the ways I'm trying to train Elio to use a toilet. And there's a whole toilet
You're
segment.
practically moshing at one point.
I was. I basically backflipped off stage. It was not good. And then the second I walked off, I had to lay flat because I took my shoes off 10 minutes in.
Of course.
I felt my whole pelvis shifting. And I just said to everyone, okay, I think I'm about to lose my legs. I'm just going to take my boots off.
Yeah. I'm sure everyone had got the pictures by that
It was fine. And I lay flat for a couple songs just for my spine to realign, which is fine.
Oh.
Yeah, I did a little bit of rolling on stage. It's great. Like, they really come on a journey. I don't know what's going to happen. They don't know what's going to happen. The band hang on for dear life. Like, it's a new experience every time.
Look, it's a rare performer where you can walk out saying, not only did I get an appreciation for her comedy chops and her vocal cords, I also got a sense of her spinal alignment and indeed her urinary tract.
So many other things as well. So we're in Sydney. Thank you. This Friday night, the Big Top. I love a big top. Feels right.
Hi, gay.
And then we head to Adelaide, and then it's done. Like, I've been hanging on for this for so long. So I'm going to try and enjoy it. Try not to kill myself with anxiety beforehand, and I did that pretty well in Brisbane. The other thing I wanted to mention.
Beautiful segue.
Thank you. I just need everyone to calm the down. Any of you who feel the need to comment on my Mother's Day video, because honestly, Mummy's mad.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Mummy is allowed to be mad. Nothing makes people more uncomfortable than when a woman who has spawned complains. I learned that today. Because there's this notion that mothers should be like just nurturing and ethereal and just always happy all the time. And everyone seems to get very uncomfortable and itchy when someone says, hang on a minute, I'm really fucking pissed off. And it seems to be women. So check your internalized misogyny, sis. Because if my complaining about my family shit effort on Mother's Day made you feel shit, that's a you problem, not a me problem.
What the fuck is hell?
Why can't women, and mothers especially, say things aren't all peachy keen? Why does it make people so nervous?
I mean, you said it before. I think, you've got one role, one dimension, and that is to be caring, nurturing at all times. No recriminations, no conflict. No, I guess that's it.
But it makes me mad. And we can't change that unless mothers themselves allow other mothers to be human and say, hey, this is shit.
And so was it mostly mothers that you
Yes.
felt that? Oh,
It's mostly, I don't know. I didn't see their cesarean scars or their perineum tearing. But, I mean, I assume, and sometimes I like to click through to get an idea of the person attacking me.
Mm-hmm.
And also, unless I directly ask for your opinion, please don't give it. Because I don't care. I genuinely don't. And I don't care if you say you're disappointed in me because I don't know you. You're not my mum. Oh, wrong button. So, like...
was that crickets?
Yeah. Actually, maybe it was the right button. So I just want to get everyone to let's just normalize women being able to vocalize when they're feeling shitty and have other women not feel threatened or weirded out by it or whatever it is it evokes in you, because then we're just stuck in this cycle of having to be one way. I don't enjoy washing skid marks off jocks. I don't enjoy picking up vomit. I don't enjoy fucking washing. I hate driving to football. All these things that people assume mothers just love to do because we're mothers. Fucking no. Your mum doesn't live to attend your shit dancing concert. I'll tell you right now. Don't go around thinking mum loves everything I do, full stop. No. Your mother has been lying to you for years, and you know that if you're a mother now, you chuck the artwork out as soon as their back's turned. Let's stop perpetuating this idea that mothers are these infallible, perfect fairy godmothers, because we're not, okay? Fuck! Wrong button.
Well,
I wanted that one.
yeah, woo!
Oh, shit, got to turn it off. Oh, my God.
Well, that was appropriate because you said let's stop perpetuating the idea that mothers are infallible and
I
then left the
fucked up.
sound effect on.
As she swirls her red wine. So coming up next, we're going to have Justine in. And before we go, though, this is the longest intro ever. 16 minutes. Good for us. How do people vote? What do they do?
They go on the interwebs
Get
and
your phone out. Get the fucking...
no, good,
you should have this... We need to put this on the walls like a telethon, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
It needs to be in the background of all our videos starting from next week. Vote, Logies.
Yeah.
I voted on every phone in my house because you can
Thank
only
you.
vote once.
Yeah, I know. They've really got the security down now, don't they? I know.
I used to buy multiple TV weeks to
I
make sure that
know.
Bruce Samazan won most popular talent for E Street.
The website is tvweeklogiesvote.com. So
Yeah.
if you just go there,
Yeah.
you will need an Australian mobile number.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to be shameless about this. Please.
Yeah,
Just
do
vote.
it.
Just vote. And also don't forget, Melissa Leong is up
up
for
for
the
gold.
gold.
She
Very
has
important. We
to
want her
win.
to win. I'm also going to say Tony Armstrong for Best New
I
Talent.
voted them. You'll be able to guess. I've done all the votes that I can
Yeah,
vote for.
totally.
You'll be able to guess who. I wish I had it in front of me now. Fuck. Can you get it up?
Yeah,
All right.
of course.
Okay. You'll be able to guess who I voted for in every category.
Okay,
Easy.
wait a minute.
Okay, he's getting
Wait,
it up. Hang on, let me get some music. You got it up?
No, wait, I'm taking too long.
Okay, it's all right. It's fine.
I'll get there.
The music doesn't have to stop. I'm assuming this is royalty free because it's on my pad.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
How you going?
Yeah, no,
You got it up?
nah,
That's too loud. Wait,
sorry.
No.
I think you might need to edit this bit.
Oh, wait. Okay, wait. No.
Yeah, that's appropriate.
Oh, this is good. Wait, what's this one?
My internet's slow.
No, this is appropriate. Come
Oh,
on.
I know. Well, I'm sorry. All right. Look, here we go.
Okay,
Ready?
go. Okay, wait. Okay.
Page is still loading. All right. Gold. Well, Melissa
Leong.
Leong. Yeah.
Yeah, go.
Okay. Most popular presenter is between Carrie, Hamish, Melissa. Most popular actor between Bernard Curry, Guy Pearce, Hugo Weaving, Ray Maher,
Craig
Roger
Peacock.
Corker, Stephen Peacock.
Stephen Peacock.
Well done.
We love him.
Most popular actress, Anna, obviously.
Anna.
Most popular new talent, Tony Armstrong.
Tony Armstrong.
Drama.
Newsreader.
Entertainment program. I'm going to say Masked
Masked
Singer.
Singer.
Panel or current affairs program.
Project.
Comedy Fisk. Or have you been paying? No, Fisk, I would say.
No, I didn't vote Fisk.
Mad as hell.
Yes, I voted Mad as Hell.
Reality, I would say MasterChef. Probably. I'm a Celebrity.
Yes, I voted I'm a Celebrity.
Lifestyle, you went for.
Oh, who did I vote for in Lifestyle? Will you get it? You
Love
won't.
It or Listed?
No. Come on, no.
Living
I want
Room.
you to. No. I want you to really think.
Better Homes and Gardens.
No. I want you to think about.
Gardening Australia.
Yes,
Yeah,
of
okay,
course.
Hello and welcome to Gardening Australia.
Most popular Australian actor or actress in an international program, Snook.
Snook.
Yeah, all
but
the way.
I was torn.
Murray Bartlett. Yeah.
You know me so
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes. I was like Snook Bartlett, because Bartlett looks like you, but we know Snook and we love Snook. So we voted
Yeah,
Snook.
their name has one syllable.
Snook.
It's Snook. Not Snook, by the way.
No, Snook.
Rookie era.
Yeah. Okay, great. So this is such chaos. Where's the clapping? All right, it's time now. We're going to go away. We're going to come back, and Justine's going to be joining us from Left, Right, Out podcast on Spotify. Justine's last name is Double Barrel, and because I have ADHD and I forget everything, Justine Landis-Hanley, 27-year-old journalist. Oh, just let me have some more red wine so I can get this out.
She's got quite a few titles.
Justine Landis-Hanley is a 27-year-old journalist and podcaster who has reported on news and politics for the New York Times. Oh, excuse me. She's 27.
I know. That's what I needed to break down. Forget the election. How did you get all this knowledge
The
at 27?
Guardian, the Sydney Morning Herald, the Saturday Paper, and Refinery 29. She worked briefly as a staffer in federal politics before realising that she much preferred talking about what was going on in Parliament than working in it. Love that. Justine Landis-Hanley from Left, Right, Out podcast is coming up next. Woo!
M. Luciano and Michael Lucas. This is Emsolation.
And we're back.
I don't know who you just became. On Wheel of Fortune.
Here's Adriana Executive.
Rest in peace. Is she gone? Is she
I don't know. Oh, I think she did.
I think she's left this mortal realm. I think she has. Yeah, she has. Justine's nodding her head. I don't know. Look, Justine probably doesn't know who we're talking about because she was born in 2015. No. Joining us now is Justine Landis-Hanley. She is a journalist, a podcaster. She's worked for New York Times, The Guardian, Sydney Morning Herald, blah, blah, blah. Very impressive. Got a 98 HR, whatever.
It's actually a 99, but anyway.
Oh no! I lashed out and pressed the thing.
Excuse me.
I know. I touched
Did you
it.
just touch my butt?
What I wanted was
Excuse
I
me.
wanted the applause.
This one.
That's what I wanted.
Never.
Okay. I will never touch it again.
My buttons. Okay.
That's your sonic reaction to my
Yeah.
intervention there.
Justine has a podcast, a fellow Spotify stablemate.
Yes.
Put in the cash register, ka-ching.
Oh, yes.
Left, Right, Out. It's brand new. It's a political podcast for people. It's really great. You tell people. You give me the elevator pitch.
Okay. So Left, Right, Out is, yes, a fellow Spotify podcast. Myself and my brilliant journalism friend, Elfie Scott. Every week we come together and we answer an audience question about Australian politics. And what's so fun about it is that like 90% of our audience are women and most of them are young women. And it's just so cool to get like women engaged in politics. Some people think like, oh, women, young women, they don't care about politics. It's not for them. No, we're here to tell you that's not the case. And it's thrilling. Yeah.
We love it. We've binge listened to it this week.
Thank you.
And what I love about it is it doesn't assume everyone's knowledge. Like when you listen to political podcasts, everyone's assuming people know how the Australian voting system works, but it's fucking complex.
Oh, it's so complex.
As you have pointed out in one episode, and I've sent that to both my daughters to listen to so they understand it, because you beautifully break it down in a way that it should be broken down, because the people who are voting can actually understand why and how. Because I learnt stuff listening to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't know how the Reserve Bank worked properly. No. It's very rare that you
Neither did I on that episode.
Exactly. And it's very odd and rare to listen to a podcast and think on one hand, A, this is super fun. B, they should teach this in school.
Yes.
But they should.
Every podcast of yours should be a lesson in school.
Exactly.
Maybe it is, but we just didn't study politics because we're art nerds.
I think everyone should study this. If we all have to vote, we should all...
I don't need to know. I need this more than Pythagoras' theorem. He can get fucked.
Absolutely.
Like, having used that once. Have not used that once since leaving school.
Sine cos tan. Where did it all go?
Sakatoa? What's that?
I dropped out of maths. You know that I forged my mother's signature to get out of maths famously, and she found out when she got my VCA results. No maths.
That's okay. Look where we are.
Who needs maths?
Who
now?
needs it?
Not me.
I think the thing that I should say is like I've always felt really silly when it comes to politics. And I'm somebody who I grew up in a household where we talked about politics. My mum ran for politics twice. She didn't win, but like she ran, it was like really engaged. And I still remember, this is so embarrassing. I went to do politics in my undergrad degree at uni and I rocked up to my first class in Australian politics. And after the class, I went to my lecturer and said, sorry, because I'm really silly and I'm not going to do well in this subject. I don't know anything. Like that, but that's like, I think that's the thing that we tell so many young people or young women. It's like, oh, you've missed it. Like you've already train's left the station. You're too behind already. So yeah, it's a common experience, I think.
So many, many months ago, I predicted that there was going to be a hung parliament before, before it was cool. Right? Like before pedestrian junkie, whatever show we're reporting on it. I sat here on this podcast and said it's going to be hung parliament. I'll tell you right now. It's going to be all about the independents. They're the rock stars. It's who can negotiate with them the best. Teal counters have all the power. Traditionally they go with environment, but also traditionally align with Liberal, but now they're in a bit of a clash with that. So who the fuck are they going to pick? I don't know. So my first question for you, what is a hung parliament? I mean, most people know, but we don't always assume knowledge. And what does that mean for our country if we have one?
Totally. These are great questions.
Good.
So let's start with a hung parliament. Actually, no, let's start with what you need to do to get government, because that's something people don't know.
Yes.
So to form government, you need to get the most number of seats, the majority of seats in the House of Representatives. Now, we've got two houses in Parliament, upper house, lower house. It's the lower house this is where we make government here.
Yeah.
So you need to get 76 seats. So all these big parties are currently like battling it out, trying to get 76 seats. If neither of them get to 76, then they're in a pickle because they can't form government. They need to pass legislation. They need the numbers. And so what can happen, that's called a hung parliament situation. And then what can happen is both the big parties, so we've got like the Liberal National Coalition and we've got the Labor Party, they will start talking to what's called the crossbench. Crossbench is this, it's literally like the benches in the middle of both sides in Parliament. And it's these like, it's like the Greens, it's like smaller parties, like it might be the United Australia Party.
Meanwhile, they have bought every spot on YouTube. I have been
wild.
watching blippy, like dinosaurs, and all of a sudden he's just there. Craig Kelly's just there shouting at my 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
Like, he's not voting.
I'm glad to hear that because I thought they were targeted for me, and I was like, why? Why are you targeting me?
They've ticked every box of who to target.
We watched a dinosaur painted as Spider-Man fight another dinosaur painted as the Incredible Hulk, and then halfway through, Craig Kelly appeared.
Yeah.
Like, mate, what? They've spent $100 million.
Oh, so much money.
Like, it's crazy. Okay, I'm going to
Leo's vote could be critical.
Leo's
You never
vote,
know.
but I just want everyone to remember Trump got in. Like, let's not laugh at the big shouty white guy who's anti-vax and think he's not a threat. Let's all remember what happened in America. I'm pausing that thought. Please continue.
No, those are all very, very good thoughts. So we've got this crossbench. It can be independents there as well. And so what the big parties will start doing is they will quickly try and negotiate. They'll be like, okay, we need your support. What can we give you in terms of policies that's going to get you on our side? And that happens for like the first little bit. And then once the Greens and the independents and whoever else is there, they can pick a side and they'll basically make a promise. In exchange for certain things that you promise to do while you're in government, we're going to protect you if that other side over there on that side of the room comes along and says, oh, we give a vote of no confidence. That just means like they say, there's no government, we need to dissolve the whole thing. And so in that situation, the Greens, independents, and in this case, let's say Labor, would team up and be like, we block that. And so we're going to keep you in government. And that's what a hung parliament would look like. It would result in this thing called a minority government.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, both Albo and ScoMo have said, we're not negotiating with independents. Okay, me. That promise has been broken pretty quickly.
Let's talk again Sunday.
Let's see how we're going Sunday.
Like I'm crawling back.
Yeah. Then ScoMo is really regretting holding up some coal in front of the Teal Independents. So what are the chances of that, do you think, actually happening on Sunday?
I think at this election, it's probably like the election where we've had the best chance of that happening in a while. So the last time that happened was at the 2010 election. Julia Gillard Labor didn't form a government out on its own. It had to team up with Greens and independents and in the crossbench. So I think this is like an exciting time, and that's because we have this kind of surge of the Teal independents, of independents. The Greens have been getting more traction in the last few years. Like there's this kind of this movement away from the major parties. And so a lot of people are being like, maybe this will happen. But then also polls have been saying Labor's going to win outright. I mean, but you just can't trust polls.
No, I don't look at them. Sometimes I just think, oh, well, it's the opposite. Because you recall the last election, Labor was in front at this exact point. And it didn't mean shit in the end. Because in the end, people say one thing and then they're faced with the voting. And like I said last week, if you're someone whose life doesn't change much, if ScoMo's in and out and you don't really care about vulnerable communities and the environment, like you're just going to maybe tick ScoMo because that's what you know and not tell anyone.
Yeah, exactly. Not tell anyone. Like you're like, oh, I
There's
don't
a lot of
know.
shame voting that goes on, I reckon.
And that, the same was the case with Trump. If people got a phone call saying we're polling, will you vote for Donald Trump? They're embarrassed. They say no, but then quietly.
Yeah. I know a lot of people would be embarrassed to admit they're voting one or another way, but and I would say mostly people I would assume would be left-leaning but secretly vote right. Like I reckon there'd be quite a few of those people. I think you'd be shocked. You know some of them. So
probably
you think,
related to some of
probably
them.
I'm definitely related to some of them.
Also, the government is currently in like caretaker mode, which
Right.
like as soon as the election's called, it goes into caretaker mode. It means like parties are not really in charge. It's like all the admin staff are kind of running things at the moment.
Yes, Debbie in accounting. Loving it.
Oh, the public service nerds.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel safe.
But I mean, like they're the ones who honestly run the country. Like, let's be real.
Yeah,
like
they actually
they do.
care.
They do a lot of the work, the actual work that makes
They're
things
the
happen.
crew.
Exactly.
Yeah, like the front, Beyonce and like all that are out in front.
Yeah.
I'm not comparing ScoMo or Elbow to Beyonce, but like the crew really make the shows happen.
Yeah, they're
I know that.
the backup dancers are all
Yeah,
there, and like the crew.
100%.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think something that is worth talking about is this idea of instability, because this has been a massive part of the, I'm going to call it the scare campaign, particularly from the Liberal Party, who are freaked out about the Teal independents because there are a number of seats where it's looking like those Teal independents might have a shot. So naturally, they're going to start saying some things to try and dissuade people from
Can
voting
you explain
for
a
them.
Teal independent, please?
100%.
Great.
Okay, so a Teal, there's lots of independents running at the election. And let's be clear, independents, not a new thing. People have been running as independents for a long time. But this election, we have this phenomenon of a couple of, well, it's known as the Teal independents, and it's about 20 or so people running independently. They're running on similar platforms, climate action, Federal Corruption Commission, like women's rights. They are often using the colour teal, which is like a bluey colour. Not all of them though. But
Is
really,
that because it's like blue meets green?
it's actually that's a
No,
really
it is. That's what I assumed.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just thought that was fact.
I don't
That's how
know,
I came up
but
with teal. I'm
no.
like, oh, that makes sense.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah,
We're going to roll with that.
Yeah, I love that.
But they also, this group of them are getting funding from an organisation called Climate 200, which is an organisation that wanted to back candidates who had climate-focused policies, basically. So that's what a teal independent is. It's
But they
like
traditionally align with the Liberal Party, right? A lot of those independents?
not all of them. I would
Okay.
say, but you're making a really good point here, which is that I think a reason why a lot of these independents have emerged is because parties like the Liberal Party have gone more and more right-wing over the years. And so suddenly there's no longer really a place for the kind of...
The centrists.
The centrists, the socially progressive ones who maybe align with them economically but not at all on other social justice issues. And so you do have candidates like Allegra Spender, whose dad was a Liberal MP, like comes from the Liberal dynasty, who's running against a Liberal candidate, Dave Sharma. So
I love that so much.
And it does feel like in
Dave
some
Sharma,
ways
I got 97 for my ATAR. Love him.
that's my
Don't
favourite
love him.
part
I
of it.
don't love him. I love that. If I got 97, I will put it in my campaign.
No,
He-
it was 100.
he got
He
100.
got 100.
I'm so sorry.
Which is
I
insulting.
think you do owe an
To be
apology
honest,
to Dave
100 is
Sharma.
impossible. It's got to be 99.9.
At the
Really?
time, you could have 100. Yeah. He got
100.
What's the
100.
point of doing that if you can't put it on your campaign material?
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, Allegra all the way, obviously, against that person. But, I mean, I understand why he did it.
Yeah,
Totally.
be proud of your accomplishments.
But
be
also,
proud of
isn't
them.
it partial? Like a lot of the teal independents, basically, like one of the big lines in the stand is climate change. Even though they might, like a lot of the coalition's policy, their
Yep.
anti-climate change stance is just, and actually, like our coalition, the fact that they are sort of so pro-coal and all that sort of stuff. Like in the UK, the Conservative Party, like Boris Johnson, he is like totally on board with the fact that there's climate change. So our coalition is like starting to become more and more unusual in the fact that they're,
Totally
not
in
taking
denial.
serious
Yeah.
action.
Particularly on climate change. And so that's why we're seeing at this election more kind of like Liberal Party people coming forward and saying, look, if you vote for an independent, you're going to get a minority government. It's going to be chaos. And the thing that I'd say to that I think that you should obviously vote for whoever you want to vote for.
Yes.
If you want to vote Lib or Labor or Greens or Independent, like you go for your life. It's up to you. But don't be put off by those kinds of scare campaigns because particularly this one, if you look back at like the last minority government we had with the Gillard government in 2010, they passed so much legislation.
Yeah, record-breaking.
We got the National Disability Insurance Scheme during that time. Like they got a lot of shit done. And so I would just like caution anyone. The other interesting scare campaign that's come out is, they'll say like, oh, but don't vote for an independent. You don't know which side they'll pick. You don't know what deals they'll do to get into power. And the thing that I'd say to that is like, yes, but the Liberal Party is currently doing deals with the Nationals to form the coalition.
They're owned by the Nationals. They can't do anything without them.
As old mate Dr. Kooyong pointed out,
I would argue that we've had a minority government for a long time and that the current Liberal government is a minority government to the Nationals and is being held to ransom by the National Party and its policies are being driven to the right by the National Party.
in a beautiful, like, scathing takedown of Friday, they already are running the country. Like, Barnaby Joyce, who we saw, I'm just flashing to that image of him swimming.
I must confess, I did.
happened?
Barnaby Joyce was photographed at the top end swimming, and I did
recreating
send
the South
that
Australian
picture.
premiers. Like,
I don't-
he's thinking that's going to work for me.
I compared it to Peter Malinakis, and I don't think that was a very fair comparison. I don't know that that was his intent.
He looked like he was cooking in some broth, and someone was going to eat him later. It was
It's like a bad holiday snap.
It was a weird idea. A few days out from the election, Barney was like, you know what they need? They fucking need me topless in the top end.
Yeah, totally.
Topless in the top end, Barnaby Joyce, vote one. Do not vote for
But he
I'm telling you
seems to
vote
have dictated a lot of their policies.
100%.
Yes.
And so if it comes down to the negotiation, like if we are in hung parliament, so I'd have to think the whole point of those teal independents is that they're not going to compromise on climate. Yeah. And we all know Barnaby and the Nationals also won't budge on climate. So like my prediction would be it's more likely that they go to Labor and Labor would finally form a minority government if we come to that. Do you reckon that's a fair assessment?
I think that is a fair assessment. I think that like, it's not that I don't think that it's the independents would necessarily pick one side over the other. I do genuinely think that they are independent. They're based on policies. But you're completely right. Are the Libs and Nats going to budge on that key policy? Probably not. But then again, guys, like, things we do for power.
Yeah, totally. Barnaby, you're like, what? I never said anything.
I want to be in government. I'll budge on this.
I mean,
Yeah, I know. She's a unicorn of death. But also the other...
ScoMo could win this.
Yeah.
I think people are really underplaying.
Well, I just before we went on, I saw Patricia Carvelis tweeting polling that was saying it's got a lot tighter.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, look, sure.
If things are working out for 7 out of 10 Australians, they're not going to want to change government.
And also, I've got another question.
It's been a decade.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, you
Enough
date
with the
someone for
staff
a
talk.
decade, it's hard to break up with them.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier just to stay there and cry at night.
She's not
So
at all
true.
drawing on
I just got married, guys. Don't go saying this to me right now.
I love my husband. We've been together 20 years. Imagine how much crying happens at my house. No, but yes.
Also, there are a lot of countries in the world, right, where it's generally like the standard thing to form government is people form.
Yeah.
Like even isn't Jacinda?
Yes.
Like,
She's in a minority, yeah.
Yeah. And like, I don't know if you've seen
Even
the
Jacinda.
Danish show Boren, but in their system, that's what it is. Like the election happens, and then it's who can negotiate best to form the.
And that's what we
thing.
want as a country.
Competition of ideas.
Yes, I love it's a think tank. I just think don't be scared of that, and that's what they're trying to make you scared of because they're just going to stay comfortable and middle-aged and white and in their 50s and doing shit that serves them. They have no reason to change stuff. You get a whole bunch of young independents and a lot of different cultures and religions. Then everybody starts to get represented. So you're right in saying, don't be afraid of this. Like, embrace it. And there's a question come in from an Emsolator. I'm just going to get it up here. And it is from Chelsea. I don't want to vote Liberal or Labor, and the Greens make me uneasy. So how do I vote? Right?
Yeah.
But I know we laugh, but these things have flashed through my mind. And I'm fairly engaged with politics. But after I saw Albo shake hands with old mate Alan Jones and just ScoMo in general and his behaviour, and the Greens have never governed, so it's easy to throw shit from the side when you've ever had to actually govern before. So you've got inexperienced, possibly Satan, someone shaking hands with Satan. Who do you pick?
I mean, I think that is such a fair question. And I mean, you can only really empathise with the situation. Like, so many people write into our show as well and say things like,
Tell me who to vote for. Do you get that?
Oh, every
Me too.
every
I
day.
me, and I'm a comedian. Who do I just tell me? I'll vote for whoever you tell me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, number one, the power.
I know.
Number two, no, I'm not taking responsibility for this country. I'm not doing that.
My co-host Elfie and I were joking, like, imagine if we set this whole show up just to be like a front for like a political party, like, and at the last minute we tell everyone who to vote for.
Wow,
And
I
like,
would probably vote for who you told me to
No.
vote for. to be
Me
honest.
too. I'm on board. That would be a hell of a strategy.
Yeah, I would actually, you laugh, but that is a really good idea for a podcast.
Yeah.
But if you are unsure, what do you do? Is it about embracing the independents whose platforms? It's about it's your responsibility to become au fait with the independents, right?
yeah.
And align yourself with someone who you like and hope that you can preference them and hope, I'm not going to get into all the
No, and
preferencing,
also
but-
read the policy. One of the things I love about your podcast is
Yes.
so often you're like, so we went to the website and we looked
Yeah.
at their policy and I'm like, it is actually really rare in our climate that we actually do that simple thing.
And you
Like they
can.
have written.
They have
I mean, as
to.
much as, and it's a bit controversial, the lack of policy they release sometimes,
Yeah.
but by and large, their stances
get
on
their
things.
vibe.
Yeah, totally. You can also do ABC's Vote Compass.
Yes.
I did that. We both did
We
it.
both did that and we're surprised we were virtually
Exactly the same.
identical.
Yeah. I did it with my husband and we were like bang on the right,
Yeah.
like same spot. And
yeah.
I was like, phew,
Husband,
thank goodness.
Alex. They arrive, they want to paint a picture. Like, imagine the opening scenes of Gossip Girl with nerds.
Oh.
Like, impossibly
Very glamorous
beautiful.
ones, though. Yeah.
You know what word that my grandmother would use to describe them? Willowy.
The shocking thing for me is because I've learned so much from the podcast, I've sort of imbued that they're either my age or maybe even older because they've just been so
No,
knowledgeable.
I
And then
knew.
you see them, you're like,
I knew. I could smell the youth.
I could biologically be these people too.
100%.
That's where I was.
100%. We both could. That's how we judge everyone now. Could we have birthed them?
The answer is yes.
Most times. Everyone on Top Gun last week. We're digressing. I've asked a lot of questions. You had lots of questions. Continue on for Justine.
My next... Thank you so much for that.
Transition music.
It's just a palate cleanser.
I've got a few questions about what you've made of the campaign.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Well, first question. It was a long one. We're in week 6 now.
Yes.
It's been exhausting, and that's longer than normal. Was it? Do you think mistake? Do you think? Because my instinct is he should have maybe just done a 4-weeker.
But I think that if we think back to like what's been happening before over the last year with the current government, we had the vaccine bungaloo, we had the AUKUS deal that then got the French president really pissed at us.
We lost the Solomon Islands.
Well, Solomon
There
Islands.
was a bushfire. That was 2 years ago. He went on
We had the
holiday.
floods.
We had the floods, inaction on the floods. And that's interesting. And I think that Queensland are going to lose. I think they're going to topple. I think people can still see the watermarks on their walls. And as they go to the polls on Saturday,
Seat of Brisbane.
they're going to remember that.
Seat of Brisbane's
Definitely.
looking like it might swing.
100%.
So I think that one of the coalition's maybe strategies going into this with how long they were going to make the campaign period for was like do it as late as possible and keep it going for as long as we can, because that gives us the best chance of trying to turn this around. Scott Morrison, can I say, like, he's a PR dude. Like he's quite good at selling himself, and I think they really know that. And Albo, like, bless him.
He wears a lot of white jeans and picks up dog poo on camera.
Like, he's had, can I say, like, I think his campaign has been really quite varied and interesting, like profiles in InStyle magazine, profiles in the Daily Telly, like
Women's Weekly,
like he's really kind of gone hard on
Appearance
campaigning.
at Bluesfest.
Yes, appearance at Bluesfest.
Was he booed? Was he cheered? We'll never know.
We just don't know. The conspiracy lives on. But the mystery continues. But I think that, the coalition knew that Scott Morrison's like advantage is his ability to sell, and Labor's is the kind of like hesitancy or for whatever reason that has emerged around Albo's image and his ability to sell himself in the same way.
Yeah, and also they've really resisted on dirty politics until the last week. Like they've really not done any smear campaigns. And to be honest, ScoMo has handed them, they didn't have to look too far. All they've got to literally do is state facts from the last 18 months. Facts.
Yeah.
And that would be tantamount to a smear campaign because you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it, but it happened. But I think they let their run too late. I expected Albo to be out there hammering them on, where were you? Where were you for this? He's got, on one hand, you can list things that our Prime Minister was absent for. I don't think he's gone hard enough because I think that he's been handed everything. It's his to lose. I really feel like this election has been Albo's to lose, and I think he might because he hasn't gone hard enough. I like the guy. Like, I don't like ScoMo. He's a smug-faced Smuggy McSmuggerton, and I don't think we would be friends. Regardless of his politics, I don't think we'd be mates. I think Albo seems like a nice guy, but that's the problem.
Yeah.
If you're going to take on a schoolyard bully with a smug face, you got to be a schoolyard bully with a smug face. You can't go in, being gentle.
I totally hear you on that analogy. Like, I have said multiple times this campaign, like, when you particularly watch them in the debates, like, Scott Morrison acts like a bully,
Totally.
and
He's a schoolyard bully.
Albo acts like the guy trying to go for school captain.
Correct.
Like, it's like
He's
that's
the prefect, and the other one's stealing your lunch.
Yeah, exactly.
And everyone ends up aligning with the guy who's stealing the lunch because we're scared.
Totally.
Well, not me, damn it.
Not me, obviously. We're not voting for him, but our job here is to point out the truth. And I got a bit of shit from people, I'm sure you didn't, for pointing out that Albo fucked up last week. And I was like, oh, why are you drawing attention to that? Because that means you won't get in. And I'm like, no, that's not my job. Is not to protect Albo, to make you like. You need to be across everything because at the end of the day, Australia gets the government they fucking deserve, and if we deserve ScoMo, that's on us. You know what I mean?
I think that Labor's.
I don't have any more wine.
She is getting
red.
fiery.
I think that like the campaign from Labor, we've really seen like two things. One is them really try and be as similar to the Liberal Party. Like they're trying to they're going real soft. They're like, we're them but better. Like we're not like they don't disrupt. They don't want to scare
we're
people
the
off.
Aldi version of the Liberal Party.
But without ScoMo. And he's smirky. I think that was the play. But this past week, there has been a policy difference. And I'm also keen to ask you.
Let's
talk
talk
about that.
Let's
Okay,
talk,
so housing affordability,
my
huge issue. Absolutely massive, particularly for younger people.
Yeah. They're not enough for sale, and they're too expensive, the ones that are.
Exactly.
Ding.
The house prices are ridiculous. And so they've both unleashed policies. And Labor's was the government will go in with you to help you get
go splitsies.
Yeah, and the coalition said we'll let you access your super. And
How generous.
I know. So my reaction was, look, I mean, look, if it were up to me, it was just the problem is like it's negative gearing. Get rid of that. Get rid of all of the things that make it easier for super rich people to just keep capitalising. It would be my thing. When I think back to when I was looking and I was younger, the prospect of like, firstly, my super was so slow.
We work in the arts.
Yeah, and you can only access
for a week.
40% of it or whatever, and that would have been about 10 grand for me back at the time. And what difference is that going to make?
This policy, it would appeal to the baby boomers. And that's about fucking it. And it just shows how out of touch they are. Do
you reckon it would have appeal? Do you reckon there would be people that would go,
I'd
love that?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not, no. I'll be calling me an expert. I'm just like,
well, you are.
I'm just a
nerd.
nerd.
A political expert.
I'm a nerd.
Political podcast. So what do you think, which policy is better?
I think that neither of them address the core issue, which is supply. So like you hit the nail on the head right before. Like the issue, when you boil down housing affordability, we do not have enough properties going for sale that are the right kind of properties. So, smaller ones that first home owners can buy in the right areas near working centres. We don't have enough of those. A lot of them are being bought up and then rented out. But we have huge demand, and that demand is being fueled by policies like negative gearing, like the capital gains tax that incentivise those wealthier people to
investment,
build your investment portfolio.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
who they're appealing to. But that's smart because that's who they want to vote for them.
100%.
He knows what he's doing.
100%.
He doesn't give a fuck about low-income people who can't afford their rent or let alone a house. He just wants to get the same old.
But I think that those policies, like the splitsies policy that Labor's pushing, or I think that the super policy that you can now take 50k out again if you have like
50k in their super,
but it's not even
under 40.
It's not even 50k though. It's you can't take more than 40% of your super. So you've got to have 120 to be able to even take the full 50k out.
Who has that?
I don't know.
Under the age of 40, who has that?
No, who has that?
Oh my God.
And so, but what these policies sound like is just like really nice. Like,
we're going to help you get a house.
We're going to help you get more cash in your hand to buy the house. But those things don't fix the housing crisis. They just make it worse because they allow people to buy into the problem. So we're all fucked. Sorry, can I swear on this show?
Oh my God. Please do.
I like talked to this. I talked to this expert. We did an episode on housing affordability, and I talked to this expert, and he was like, "Don't quote me, but like we're like." It's a motherfucking problem. Like, we're fucked.
And how do we turn this ship around? Like, it's just getting crazy.
I think, the world's on fire. There's a little problem there with the climate situation. So there's a lot of
ships we need to turn around.
There's a lot of ships. We have a very high percentage of female listeners.
Yes.
Which government is going to do better for women?
We were focusing on women's economic security. So things like childcare, paid parental leave, really important things like helping close the super gap and the gender pay gap. In terms of like who has the most research-backed policies, like who has the policies that the experts are saying are the best, the Greens, like they have really listened to that research, coming out with things like 26 weeks paid parental leave that can be split between parents, but have like a minimum that parents have to each have. Like that's really important. Having free childcare, that's what they want. Next on the list would be the Labor Party, because they want to make childcare even cheaper. And then with the Liberal Party, what you've got is what they've just introduced. So they have made childcare cheaper, but the problem with childcare is that you are still like, the more days you work, the more you end up spending on childcare, the less you get back in subsidies. And the other like really crucial thing that the Liberal Party recently did at the budget, so they did this thing where they said, we're going to increase paid parental leave to 20 weeks that can be split between both parents, and you guys can choose how you split it. And a lot of people were like, great, cool, I can take, like women previously could only take 18 weeks, now they can take an extra 2 weeks and their partner can take 0. But that's the point, is that we know from the experts that if we leave it up to parents to choose how they split paid parental leave, women take more than men, and then women maybe don't go back into the workforce at all, they earn less money, all these roll-on effects. So again, like really important to be studying what are experts saying about the policies, because they can sound real nice and not actually have the best consequences.
Well, it's interesting. My daughter, who's nearly 21, all her friends just heard Greens are going to be wiping HECS debt. And they're voting for.
Yes.
Like, that's it. She's like, what? I'm voting Greens. I'm like, no, babes, let's read policy. She's like, nah, student debt. Because she's studying at Melbourne Uni and she's basically paying full fees, but it's all been online. So she's paying for the maintenance of like Hogwarts and but doing it from our attic. And but paying all those fees. Like they've not reduced fees at all for this online arts degree she's getting. So, yeah, that policy from the Greens has grabbed a whole generation.
Can I say the Greens have done in terms of campaigning, we've been talking about
they've gone young, man.
They have gone young.
Yeah.
And it's so smart in terms of political strategy, because what we're seeing the major parties pandering to is like the centrist older vote.
They're all going to be dead in 20 years. They're screwed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the Greens are like, where are we going to grow our vote with the next generation?
And with the huge influx of people enrolling, like the majority of that, there was how many hundreds of thousands of new voters?
I can't remember, but it was crazy.
But the percentage was that generation that the Greens are going after.
I would also say Greens leader Adam Bant had the best line of the thing, which was
Google it, mate.
I mean, I still think that was. That would be my next question. Who surprise winners? Who like apart from outside of ScoMo and Elbow?
Yeah.
Because the other good thing about election campaigns is you start to see which stars of the future are going to pop up.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that's leapt out to you as particularly, be it a Teal independent or someone in the coalition or anyone?
Well, the doctor.
Really?
Dr. Q Young,
Dr. Monique Ryan.
She's pretty great.
I think she's really been a standout. I think Adam Bant really won some like respect with that Google it, mate, or just like not taking
Could
shit.
Adam Bant be Prime Minister?
They would. The Greens have one person in the House of Reps. Remember, you need 76.
So
but
I think a lot of people would like to know that, because I don't think people understand.
Yeah.
That like he's prolific, and he's like number 3. Like you've got the two big guns, and then you got the Greens, the cool guy.
Full respect for him though. If it is we're in a hung parliament and he goes into the negotiation and starts saying to Labor, "What about if we form a coalition and I'm the Prime Minister?" If he could pull off that.
If he could, get full mad respect to him if he could do that.
Never say never.
Never say never. You never know.
Yeah.
But I think like the Greens they have more seats in the Senate. That's where they really have more power.
Yeah.
My last question. Can I ask one more?
Yeah.
I just think there's one big factor that no one's accounted for in any of the polling. No. More huge. The day before the election.
Wait. Do I have? I want a drum roll.
No. Okay. Day before the election, a huge factor comes into play. Harry Styles releases his 3rd solo album, Harry's House. Who is that going to benefit? What will happen? Will the stylers...
It's going to go against the Greens.
Is it? Because they're going to be just doing listening parties?
Yeah, really into that. And because Marcella has a countdown on her calendar, and I'm worried she's going to forget to vote. So I'm making her do early voting tomorrow because Harry's album's coming out Friday. Justine doesn't realise we're not joking.
Or would it be kind of like waiting in line for voting is quite a good listening activity for if you're into the new Harry Styles album?
But it would ruin it for me. It would always be associated with the smell of off sausages and other people's body odour. I just do want to point out, no one has mentioned the pandemic. No one's talked about this. No one has campaigned on it. No one's talking about it. We're in an endemic. Whoa, it's done. No, more people are dying than ever.
Yes.
In COVID.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Over 60 people died today from COVID in Australia.
Going
over 60, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just no one is wearing masks. No one is talking about it. No one is talking about how we're going to recover from it. What about people like me who are on tour, but if someone goes down for it, the whole show's done. I don't have any insurance. No one is talking about the pandemic anymore, but it's still happening.
I think we're just, we want
Fatigued.
to pretend it's not happening.
About it.
Yeah.
And they both know that. So they're I mean, every once in a while, there'll be a bit of a kick towards ScoMo as in, you didn't get us enough vaccine fast enough.
Talking about it.
Yeah.
It does.
I'm surprised that Labor hasn't capitalised on that more. But you're so right. I think people are so sick of that their solution is we just won't talk about it because we don't want to
it's the same way we don't talk about death.
Yeah.
We all live it's never going to come, and then it comes. You're like, what the fuck? They died? No way.
That person you mentioned at the start.
Yeah. I just keep that in the back of your mind. All right, before everyone goes, this is drop dead. The unicorn of death has the gun to your head.
Oh God, what?
Election results.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got to make your prediction.
Okay.
Michael Lucas. You're going to be at my house Saturday night. They're going to call, the little elf is going to call the results, possibly.
Yeah.
Who's he calling?
You've swayed me. I think it will be a hung parliament, but Labor will have had more of the vote going in, and then Labor will successfully get the minority government, not the coalition, would be my prediction.
Justine? This is it, mate. Your whole New York Times 100 fucking hot husband on brand life leading up to this moment.
It's all on the line for this.
We can't articulate what the reward will be if you get it right.
Just
but
respect. When we listen back next week. You'll be
Yeah.
like, fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. I think that I think that I think that it'll probably be a hung parliament just because I can't see Labor winning outright. I am I am thinking it could be Scott Morrison.
She's just gone.
We've gone broke. There we go. Just because it's happened before and people like what they know.
Oh, we're not going to sleep tonight. Em. Now you've said hung parliament. Go further.
Going to win.
So you're saying he might even win outright. Oh, you've darkened.
She has darkened. Her face is like really dropped.
I don't want this to be the case, but I've consulted with my waters and my third eye. I read some polling, and
more than anything, you've got your gut.
The vibe. Stemmer's going to win narrowly, but I think they're going to take it outright. I don't think there's going to be any need to negotiate with any independents.
If that happens on Saturday night when he comes out and when he says, "How good's Australia?" That will hurt.
Oh, we'll fucking throw the gin at the telly. I don't care. We'll buy a new telly. It'll be worth it for that momentary release of pent up. I'm telling you, I'm so sorry, Australia. I'm so sorry. Prove me wrong. This is a win-win. It's a lose-win. Prove me wrong, and great.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I've only been wrong once in all of my predictions, in all of the times.
Wow.
I don't want it to be the case. I'm happy to be wrong.
She was wrong about Trump being re-elected. She thought he was going to. However, she was always sitting there ominously saying Sydney will go into lockdown, and then in the end it did.
I also predicted Abbott 6 months out.
Yeah.
No one thought that was going to happen. Well, time will tell.
The polling place should just call you, I feel.
That's right.
More accurate.
Oh, well, we have said I'm like the octopus that predicts the World Cup results. I'm less accurate and less qualified.
And less happy.
And less arms.
I make sad predictions.
I'd rather be me.
I'd rather be an octopus.
I live in a world of
sexual?
delusion where things could be great.
An octopus is really sexual. Remember that show, My Octopus Teacher? He was in love with that octopus flat out. There was something weird going on between those two.
That is true.
Did you see that, My Octopus Teacher?
That is true.
He was in love with
yes,
that
he
octopus?
was.
Like, it was weird. It wasn't kosher.
Yeah, no.
Eating that squid. There was some sexy squid there. All right, let's see what happens. Justine, your podcast is Left, Right, Out. People can listen to it exclusively on Spotify. When does it come out? What days?
Every Thursday.
Holy shit.
One more until election day.
I know.
Pretty good.
As I said,
Go
catch
listen
up.
Now.
Listen, it'll
Binge.
help.
You'll
Thank
be ready.
you.
You'll be educated and ready to vote on Saturday. Fucking vote. Prove me wrong, Australia. Thanks, Justine.
Thank
you.
Em Rusciano and Michael Lucas. This is Emsolation.
All right, gang. Well, hopefully you're feeling clearer on what you're going to do in regards to the election. Perhaps you're even more confused, or perhaps you're listening to this and you already know what's happened. Hello to you in the future. What's it like? Because as I record this outro now, it is still pre-election and I don't know what's going to happen. How good's my sound effect board though? Like, seriously. This is the worst idea or the best. We're going to put in our own buttons. Like, we're going to have Elio. We might have a bit of Highgate. It's going to be a wild ride every week. Trust me. What? Did you say you're excited? Yes! Oh, God, I got to turn it off. So I am playing Sydney Friday night. I'll see you there at the Big Top, and then Adelaide at the Thebarton Theatre on May 27th. It'll be done. I also want to let you know that Odette, my daughter, drew a beautiful tour T-shirt. So if you came to my Melbourne show at the Bowl a year and a half ago, this is for you. You're on there. You're entitled to have one. You're all entitled to get one. But you can go to emrussiano.com and just click the shop button, and there's a tote bag with Odie's amazing disco ball with my head situation and the T-shirt. Go and support her. She's getting the cut. She's getting the money from it. So she's pretty pumped. And if you're coming along to the shows, make sure you buy one also. Make sure you're following us on Instagram at Emsolation Podcast, and also sign up for the newsletter. You'll notice the newsletter's had some plastic surgery. She's going to be looking pretty schmick this week. You definitely want to get on board for that. And also, what else do I want to say? I think that's it. I think that's all I have to say. I hope your candidate wins, unless your candidate is Scott Morrison. Showing my hand there. And we'll be back next week to decompose. I don't know if that works. Until then, though, stay safe, look after yourselves, and I don't know why. I feel like this is the last time I'm saying goodbye to you. I don't know why. Oh, that's ominous. Jesus, touch wood, touch wood, touch wood. Oh, that's the one. Bye, guys.
Emsolation with M. Russiano is a Spotify exclusive podcast recorded at Down the Hill Studios. Hosted by M. Russiano with Michael Lucas. Executive produced by Benjamin Wasley. Produced by M. Russiano. Edited by Ezekiel Fenn at Entente Music. With videos by James Henderson. Socials by Marcella Russiano Barrow. With assistance from Jem Evans and Georgia Watts. Plus, occasional offer shelf installs and flat pack wrangling from M's dad Vincey. Get more Emsolation by following us on Instagram at Emsolation Podcast. You can also sign up for our weekly newsletter. Join other Emsolators of the Emsolation group on Facebook. The answer is Harry Styles. And please take the time to share this podcast with a friend and make sure you're following us on the Spotify app by hitting the follow button. Thanks again for taking time out to listen to this week's episode, and we look forward to chatting with you again soon.